Hey guys, I speak to a lot of people who have a lot of problems with Facebook marketing. Either that they feel they're spending too much, not getting enough return on their money, not getting any return on their money, not really knowing what they're doing, etc., etc. There's a few things I want to kind of go over today because Facebook marketing is still one of the most effective ways of pushing your product or service, and if done correctly can be extremely lucrative. Now I wanted to go over a few basic things that you can do which will really help increase the chances of your ads working. Firstly is not overcomplicating your campaign. The way I would advise setting up your Facebook campaign is to have one campaign with two ad sets. One ad set for warm audience and one ad set for a cold audience, the top of your funnel. And within those two ad sets, you'd have a few ads for each. When targeting your audience, try to, even if you're kind of doing a small local search, go for the biggest audience you possibly can. So try and target for over 1 million. The reason for this is that Google will optimize itself. If you limit your audience too much initially, you may find that Google's kind of optimizing ability doesn't work particularly well, and you will find out it won't really ever build up a decent audience that it's targeting itself, and therefore you could end up spending a lot more and getting very small returns. Now I know that sometimes if you're targeting for a very small area that might not be possible, but just maybe try and make it as big as possible without being too detailed with your targeting options. Also, with regards to your campaign setup, anything that you launch that's new, leave it for 3 to 5 days before you start trying to tinker with it. And once again, this is because Facebook is really clever, and it tries to find out exactly who's right for you, because ultimately it wants you to spend money with them long term. So it's actually in its best interest for you to get the best return on its money, on the money you spend. So let it run for 3 to 5 days, because Facebook will work out what's working, what isn't. And then after that period, adjust, see what's working, see what's not, and then make changes, but give it enough time to really do its magic. And also, if you've got a small budget, you haven't really got, don't go too crazy on creating too many ads. Keep the ads relatively small, and see really what's working before trying to tinker or spreading yourself too thin, because once again Facebook won't be able to work out what's working, what isn't, because the budget's just simply too low. This moves on to kind of getting your targeting options right. This is obviously one of the main key things. I did another video recently on identifying your perfect audience. Have a look at that first, maybe before going down and making your Facebook ad. But I mentioned about getting quite granular with the details of your customer, because once you know the customer, you can really fine-tune your audience on Facebook, which is very key. Things such as life events, existing contacts, purchasing behavior, location, demographics, things like that, you can all put within your audience setup, and the closer you get to your perfect customer, the better that your ads will run. Following on from that, another thing that people do or don't do that works very well is testing different hooks. Now, what I mean by that is quite often a business will focus on one pain point or one issue that the customer might be having. Now, if you've kind of identified exactly who your customer is, you probably should have come up with 3 to 5 different problems and solutions that your service or product is offering for that particular customer. Now, what a lot of people do will focus on one solution or one problem that customer is having, and then they'll create the ad based on that. Now, they'll create 4 or 5 different ads, maybe rewriting the title or making a slightly different image on that same problem or solution. An example for this may be if you're running a dance school and you pick up the point that you're making the parents' children more skillful at dancing. That may be the solution that you're doing, when in fact the majority of the parents may actually want 1 to 2 hours a week where they don't have the children because they're on school holidays, or it may be that they need something to pass the time during the holiday periods, where you've only focused on increasing the children's dancing ability. The other ads may work better. So create 2 to 3, or 3 to 5, I should say, actually different hooks and different ads based on different solutions and problems that you're trying to fulfill with your service. And you should find that you then work out really what's making your customers tick, and then kind of scale up the things that are working. And lastly, before you go flooding people with offers and really promo-based ads, try and build up some trust. You need to build up a story of who you are, what it is that you're about, and give some value to your potential customers. And this would be in your cold ad set. This is the people at the top of your funnel who probably don't know who you are. Before you try and plaster them with an offer or a discount for a service, or ramming your service down their throat, try and build up a bit of a rapport. Try and maybe show some reviews, like case studies of how you've implemented your service on someone that's worked really well. If you're a physiotherapist, for example, and someone came in with an injury, maybe point them to a case study or a video showing how well the person has come about and how their injury is now healed, or for example, or you're an accountant and how much money you've saved that client. Build up the rapport and then target them on the warm ad sets, your other ad set, with the offers. And then once they're an actual lead that potentially wants your service. And to be honest, if you get these basic things right, obviously it gets a lot more complex in terms of other things you can do to really start adjusting your ad sets, and when you start to scale, which we may do in another video. These are the real basic things that if you kind of get right, even with a small budget, you should start to see pretty good returns if you're monitoring it really well. And another thing to add is don't be too over the top with the editing of your ads. Allow some time to really see what's working. Maybe only adjust it once a day. There's a lot of people that can get really scared when running ads because they're spending money, and try adjusting things before they've even had a chance to kind of prove themselves or disprove themselves. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful to some of you guys that are trying to run Facebook ads. And once again, if you have any questions about Facebook ads or anything else within the digital marketing realm, give us a shout.